Welcome to the PFP podcast. I'm Luke Holloway, editor of Personal Finance Professional magazine. In this episode, I'll be talking to Kirsty Anderson, Bob Walne and Sophia Awan. In this episode of the podcast, we're discussing the Personal Finance Society's new event programme for 2024. I'm joined by Kirsty Anderson, PFS Regional Chair of Central Scotland, Bob Walne, PFS Regional Chair of Norfolk, and Sophia Awan, Programme Development and Partnership Manager for the PFS. Here's my conversation with Kirsty, Bob and Sophia. Hello to you all, and thank you very much for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you for having us.
Yep. Hi. Thanks for having us.
Hello. Hi, everyone. So, Sophia, if we could perhaps begin with you. The Personal Finance Society have announced a really exciting and engaging new programme of events for 2024. Can you give us a bit of an overview of what is planned?
Yeah, we're really excited, obviously, to be kicking this off. Following feedback and independent member research, we found that the old-style PFS regional conferences, they were just no longer meeting the needs of the majority of our members. We've got quite a broad membership base, obviously, ranging from power planners to financial planners, back office, compliance. And I think, obviously, with COVID, that's just changed the dynamic so much. So with the support and investment of the PFS board, we've actually been able to introduce a range of exciting improvements for 2024. So the PFS members will actually now be able to access a core face-to-face CPD events programme. So that's the PFX Exchange. So we've got our spring one starting from the 27th of February in London, and that will be based around later life planning. In summer, kicking off in June, that will be around, AI, technology, sustainability, and looking forward. And then we've got our autumn exchange, which will be based around tax efficiency. And then in conjunction with that, we've obviously got our power planning 2024. So I think that was kicked off last year. But yeah, we're really, really looking forward to purely power planning 2024. We've got an exciting lineup for that. And then I guess just in addition to the face-to-face CPD events, we've also launched the digital CPD program. So that will be continue to provide a comprehensive program of convenient webinars covering a range of technical and skills topics. And that will include our popular Power of Financial Planning series. And then the digital libraries, obviously, there on demand for members to view. And then in addition to that, I think this has been the most exciting thing for all of our members, is the PFS Local, which is the committee members around the country. They've now got more scope and choice in terms of what they're delivering for their local committees. So, for example, you've got London, but London's so broad, so you can now have a range of different events. Perhaps it's a social one trying to get more newbies in, or the younger audience, or maybe you've got a technical session going on. It can basically be personalised to what your actual committee members need now. Maybe it is getting a partner in. We're really, really looking forward to it. The response has been good so far.
That sounds fantastic. I mean, you've mentioned that you used member feedback and the feedback of those that have attended our PFS events in the past, which is great. And you're engaging with all different sectors, different subject matter and different groups as well. Sophia, why do you think these new events will be of value to those working in the financial planning profession?
I think personally, there's just been such a change in terms of the way we fast forward to the digital age. I mean, I mentioned before COVID fast tracked all of that. And then, it's not a secret, like kind of the membership of the financial planning audience, our members, we've got a whole majority that are looking to retire, perhaps, or sell their business. So it's like, who's the next generation going to be? So we really need to kind of, we've got initiatives going on with schools and colleges and universities. We've got a really strong department, and that's going really well. But obviously there's a time lag as well. So it's nurturing what we have and really ensuring that we're looking after our existing membership but also focusing on the potentially new financial planners, para planners as well, and we're supporting them in the right way. So yeah, I'm sure younger people will be like listening to podcasts on their phone, or, you know, it's not like back in the day where we'd turn up to a classroom and we'd be listening. Everything just needs to be so much more readily available. But I think, you know, the difference with the larger events is that now we've got that budget, I guess, behind us to get some really exciting speakers and thought leaders. So that's like the real benefit of attending these exchange events, is to get that additional bonus and that added value that you perhaps wouldn't get. And you've got that one-to-one time as well for questions, whatever it may be. And, you know, networking again, it's all about who you know in the industry. So it's a chance for people to, meet people that they might perhaps not come across in their day-to-day. Because it can be a bit isolating, I think, being a financial planner, especially working from home now and like traipsing up or doing Zoom calls. I remember like a few years ago, people were like, oh yeah, it's all going to be on Zoom. And, you know, the majority of the audience were like, no, but now it's like completely changed. So yeah, I'm hopeful and I'm positive about the new programme.
Absolutely. And it sounds like you're taking those kind of core positives and benefits that were already there in PFS events and just kind of helping them evolve and, you know, bring them up to date. And you touched on there that the events will be delivered multi-stream. Can you tell us a bit more about that and how that improves the way PFS events are delivered to members and personal finance professionals?
Yes, as mentioned, the programme includes the larger exchange events, PFS Local and our digital programme. It will improve the way that we deliver CPD relevant to a broader range of roles within our membership rather than just advisors. So the exchange events, they're a go-to for anyone working in financial planning, power planners, administration, compliance and business owners. We want to create an event environment suitable for a more diverse mix of attendees. So championing diversity by increasing the diversity, not just in terms of gender and race, but also in terms of socioeconomic backgrounds and the next generations, for example.
And Kirsty, if we could turn to you, what are your thoughts on the new Personal Finance Society's programme of events for 2024?
Yeah, I think as Sophia said, I think the key thing for us, certainly in Central Scotland, is that we're very aware of the fact that we have a large number of members and there's possibly only kind of 20% of those members have actually been coming along to events over the last couple of years. And I think, again, as Sophia said, quite often, you know, when we think of all the members that we have, you've got, you know, compliance individuals, you've got paraplanners, as well as financial planners and advisors, but it tends to be just advisors that come along to the events. So certainly in Central Scotland, our committee are taking this as an opportunity to actually listen to the individual conversations that we've had with members over the last couple of years, which means that we will be able to cater more for them on a not on an individual basis, but possibly on a smaller scale. So I'll maybe come back and talk about that a little bit more when we talk about the PFS Local. But I think, and what I'm really hoping for, given that this is the first year of the new programmes, is the fact that, you know, within the day, we are going to have, you know, different streams that are going to be happening, which means the delegates, as they come along, they can choose what is more relevant for them. So for example, you know, there's going to be around lifetime allowances and things. So if pensions is something that you deal with a lot, you're going to be able to go along to that. If not, if you're more interested in another stream, you can go along to that. So it's giving people choice instead of having to sit and listen to, you know, perhaps it's a session on brokering, or maybe it's a session on, you know, asset management that perhaps is not your area of interest. So I think we're offering a lot more choice, and hopefully that will be reflected in the feedback from our members after the first round.
Absolutely. And Bob, what are your thoughts on the new PFS event series? And are you hoping this will help us reach more members in your region?
Yeah, definitely. I think Sophia and Kirsty have put it quite nicely there. I do think that when we looked at our conferences, we had a lot of advisors attending. It's very, very advisor-led. And of course, there are administrators, paraplanners, compliance support people who are members as well. So I think there'll be more of a broader range of topics that will be covered. So yeah, I think I think we looked at the actual numbers of members and the breakdown between advisors and power planners, etc. And we just were not reaching as many people as we could do. So I think this gives us an opportunity to cater for more of the membership as opposed to just advisors.
And one of the areas of focus, as Kirsty's mentioned there, is PFS Local. Bob, can you give us a little bit of insight into what your region will be delivering as an example?
Yeah, so I think Kirsty pointed out sort of in Scotland, Norfolk is quite similar in that it's quite a big area, and a lot of people would tend to use the conferences as an opportunity to gain their CPD requirements. So we're mindful of that. And I think what we want to do is try and replace as many hours as possible via our local events. So we're going to try and aim to deliver probably 6 or 7 events across the year. One thing we have started to do over the last couple of years is put on what we call an IDD event, the Insurance Distribution Directive. There's a requirement for 15 hours of IDD CPD. And that was really an opportunity to sort of host 4 or 5 companies talking about business protection, personal protection, perhaps critical illness cover, and maybe some insurance bond options as well. So that's something we aim to do as well. But we've also talked about perhaps a technical session, as Kirsty mentioned. That could be on a range of things. The lifetime allowance, as she said, is quite topical at the moment, but sustainability is a big theme as well, but also perhaps some behavioural topics as well. So ideally, we can try and reach, as many members as possible and hopefully see some new faces come along. And I think most of the events will probably be face-to-face. Maybe some will be, perhaps online.
Absolutely. And that really is key, isn't it, Kirsty, that wealth of content is available. But as you mentioned, members and financial planning professionals are getting more choice. They're getting more relevant technical content. Can you give us an idea of what attendees can expect in the Central Scotland area where you are?
Yeah, to be fair, it's actually not too dissimilar to what Bob just said. We're slightly different because we are going to have one of the large events in the spring. So I think it's the 12th of March. I'm pretty sure that's the correct date in Glasgow. So we'll be getting one of the kind of first round, and the content for that looks great. So we're very similar to what Bob's saying for Norfolk, but we'll be planning a lot more of our events for kind of later in the year, into the summer and then into autumn. IDD is definitely one that's come up. Martin, who sits on the committee as an advisor, and he's kind of said actually lots of feedback from our members are calling out for this. But Lindsay's also working with other members from the admin and the compliance side and the paraplanner side to kind of make sure we've got a really good understanding of what those members need, because I want to do a couple of events that really caters for them. Now, obviously, that means that we need to make sure that the advice firms are happy to let them go for a couple of hours. So we were thinking possibly, a couple of hours instead of a full day session, perhaps, to make sure that it is of value and advisors and business owners can see it's of value. So we will have some face-to-face events catering to that. We've also had some members that have said, again, from a kind of selling your business, but also for newer advisors entering the field, how do they gear up if they want to start their own business? Some of the things that they need to think about. So we want to kind of think about that as well. So that's maybe a bit more kind of networking and speaking to other business owners. And, there are some firms out there that specialise in getting your business ready to sell, but we want to do a little bit of research on, okay, what's the key things that you need to think about if actually you want to either buy a business or start one up, which, I mean, most of the time you're going to be buying a kind of a client bank, aren't you? But nonetheless, we'll look at that as well. So yeah, similar to Bob, lots of face-to-face events, but we will also cater for digital CPD events just to make sure that we've got that covered off for our members as well.
Fantastic. Just sounds so interesting and really aimed at professionals that are at all stages of their financial careers. Sophia, we've touched on how important, face-to-face events are. That networking element is obviously invaluable to professionals. The new program also involves PFS Digital, which is a commitment to deliver more than 200 webinars to members as well. Can you tell us a bit more about the benefits of continuing those digital events?
Yeah, I know. I think, as Kirsty and Bob have both touched on, we've got such a wide audience now, and we're delivering to so many different learning styles and all sorts of things. So, you can attend face to face, but, I think as Kirsty mentioned, you can kind of pick and choose now what you need from as well. So the whole idea behind the digital program, I mean, I know there's different learning styles. The amount of times I have to listen to something, stop it, pause it, repeat it all over again. You can do that now with the webinars. So, you've got, I think, like probably 4 main benefits is, the accessibility. So you can, listen to them while you're going on the tube or going to an event. It doesn't matter where you are. If you want to listen to them on holiday, I'm sure you would, but take a break from that. And then, hopefully that helps as well with like eliminating travel expenses as well, because sometimes I think maybe for administrators or power planners, they can't always get out of the office as well. They might not get that approval or that flexibility. So it's really important that we can actually reach all the audience and all the members within our membership. And again, flexibility, so they can participate in these webinars at their own pace, at their own schedule. Maybe once they've dropped the kids off to school or they've walked the dog or whatever it may be, they can do it anywhere at their own time. And it's still professional development, but it's kind of fitting into their busy lives as well. And the third thing I would be probably draw upon is the diversity of the content, so you don't have to listen to about, I don't know, LTAs or pensions. Maybe it's something that you need, I don't know, cash flow modeling, perhaps, whatever it may be. But the members can actually tune into what they need to. Maybe they just need a little bit more information or they want to brush up on something. They don't have to go to a whole day event for that, to hear the latest bits. They can just kind of log on there and see what they need to. And then I think as well with where they're live as well, if they are able to attend the live ones, you can sometimes get maybe a bit of networking opportunities or, meet other people who are in the industry too. Or perhaps someone said something interesting or you've now heard of a speaker who you can follow on LinkedIn or whatever it may be. So again, probably the same as face-to-face, but I think the flexibility, the accessibility and diversity of content, they're the main 3 benefits of the digital program.
Absolutely. And Kirsty and Bob, as chairs of our PFS regional committees, you've obviously seen the events that we offer evolve, and you've attended many yourself, I'm sure. And how have you found them valuable during your careers? And what would you say, Kirsty, to a personal finance professional in a certain area that might not have thought of attending PFS events before? What kind of value can they bring to someone's career?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been coming along to the PFS events now for around 10 years, I think, and I've come along as a delegate, but I've also come along as a speaker as well. It's something that I do when I'm not sitting or doing the kind of the chair role. I do come along as a pension specialist. So I've personally found them really invaluable. I think a big part of my network that I now have within the industry is thanks to many people that I've met, I suppose, on the circuit or attending some of these events. It genuinely is a great opportunity to kind of speak to other people within the industry that aren't always doing the same role, but there's added benefit. I think the key thing that I would say is, please come along. If you've not been to an event before, we really are trying to listen to member feedback and try and design these for you. And that's on a regional scale, but from a local level in central Scotland, I've now been chair for around a year. We've got 2 new members. We did have another couple, but people have got busy lives. I genuinely want to hear from as many people as possible in our region. I want to make sure that we're delivering something that's of value to our members, and we're doing as the best we possibly can and trying to reach out and speaking to lots of members from, in lots of different roles. But please, if anybody has any feedback or has any suggestions, get in touch with us. But also, if you'd like to be involved in shaping how this goes forward, I think we're in quite an exciting time. I want to see more women. I want to get more younger people involved. So yeah, if you're at all interested, please do get in touch. All our details are on the PFS website.
Fantastic. And Bob, would you agree, that the value that those PFS events can bring, but also that this is an exciting time, that, the way they're delivered is evolving, and that PFS are reaching out to professionals to find out exactly, what they want and how they want to engage with it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, members pay a subscription to be part of the PFS. And, this is a great way to, see there are so many benefits. And I think what I would say is sometimes, people don't always leave their desks. They're rooted to their desks or they're working at home. I think just to get out and meet other professionals is really important because you know what it's like if you're working at your desk. You're doing maybe a digital event. You probably don't give it as much time as you could do, but if you're at that face-to-face event, then there's an opportunity to see the speaker, but at the same time network with other individuals as well. So I think it's important to be able to do that.
Absolutely. It's such a key part that, professionals can be dealing with clients all the time. And, it can be a really valuable thing to meet other professionals, speak to them about the challenges they're having, are they the same as them, are there, the opportunities that are out there and the continued learning that everyone's doing and get their opinions on it. So, I'm sure it is incredibly valuable. And finally, Sophia, is there anything else you'd like to add regarding the new PFS event series or any other information you can give us on where to direct listeners to find out a little bit more?
Yeah, I think just stay tuned to the weekly PFS emails that go out. Also look out for your regional committees. They'll also be sending out regional mailers now to let you know what's going on. I know they're all keen to hear, what do their individual members want? Is it more technical classes? Is it master classes? Is it soft skills? Whatever it may be, we really want to listen to you and deliver that as well on a personal level. But otherwise head over to the PFS website, to the in-person events, and they can see everything that's listed for the year. That will continually be updated, but any updates will be out in our weekly newsletters.
Fantastic. And you can find out more about the events in your region through the PFS website, which will be listed alongside this podcast. And all that remains for me to do is to thank Sophia, Kirsty and Bob for joining us today. It's a pleasure speaking to you all and great to find out about the new events programme. So thank you all and we'll look forward to those beginning.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for listening to this episode of PFP Podcast. For more podcasts and for useful links, you can visit pfp.thepfs.org/podcasts. So until next time, thanks for listening and goodbye.